Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the NYG Blue Zone. It's your boy Atticus, joined once again with my man Rudy. Rudy, what's up, man? How you doing today?
What's going on, brother? Hey, just another great Sunday of knowing that the fourth quarter is always going to be a letdown.
Time for our weekly therapy session, huh?
Yes, sir.
What a game, though. I got to tell you, Rudy, the New York Football Giants are probably the best worst team I have ever seen in this league. What do you think about that?
Well, oh man, it's thank you that it took us an hour to finally do this because I know you were probably pissed off. I know I was extremely pissed off. But you're
Yeah,
right, man. It's just 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we're able to win these close games with a
right.
an okay quarterback at the time. Um, But yeah, we had nobody explosive like a Malik Neighbors or anything like that. But again, worst best team with an offense that just knows how to get it done. I mean, just
I
last year
know.
we were talking about the offense is horrendous with four quarterbacks playing. This year,
Right.
we're scoring 20 plus points on any defense on any given Sunday. It doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
our defense is just going to give the opposing offense 1 point more, maybe 7 points more, 3 points
Yeah.
more. Your defense every Sunday is a letdown, man.
I tell you what, man, I was really pissed at the result of this game, but I wasn't surprised. This is once again the Giants finding new ways to lose games. This time, I mean, this is the fifth 10-point lead that the Giants had in the fourth quarter that they've surrendered to another team. This week, they had them take them to overtime. And some people would say that, Kafka should have kicked the field goal to force them to score a touchdown at the end, and he probably should have, right? This is
I
this guy's second. Is that something that you said?
On my video that I just posted an hour ago, yes, that's exactly what I said. Only because
Yeah.
I get it, you want to be aggressive, but just you got to know your defense is horrendous in the fourth quarter. You had
Mm-hmm.
that on that final drive. They're within field goal range, correct?
They were
For whatever his name is to kick a 58 yarder. When
59.
the Giant, yeah, when the Giants sniffed out that pass to the flats, they lost 3 more yards, which made it like a
Correct.
4th and 7 or 4th and 8. If you were already up by 6 points, you're giving the offense 30 something seconds to try to go on it for 4th and 8. Still
Right.
leading 24-30, man, instead of them trying to kick a field goal.
Well,
But
in this game, it was the Giants' opportunity to do that, right? Like that, it's happened to them all year long. This was their opportunity to have a game-winning drive to close out the game, and they just weren't able to do that. And they tried, right? And then they got to the point where Kafka realized that you know what, this is just an exercise in futility. We're not going to get the ball down the field, so let's take a knee and go to overtime. In overtime, first play of the game, Jamar Gibbs, he just had a day, bro. It was crazy. But I want to ask you because, there are two trains of thoughts to this. Kafka is definitely auditioning for what's going to be his future with the with the New York Football Giants, right? He's either going to be the head coach here or somewhere else. Do you think, in spite of his, let's say his lack of judgment in going for it instead of kicking a field goal, do you think he showed enough now that we've got two games showing his offensive philosophy and his style of coaching? Do you think he's shown enough to bring Mara and Tish and Shane, I guess, closer to deciding that he's going to be the head coach moving forward?
well, I said on my video for 3.5 quarters, Kafka made great decisions for the offense to move the ball. The offense has not been the issue. And I truly can say the offense has not been the issue since the beginning of the season. I said that Mike Kafka did not help himself out in this game. Only because you you've done everything right till that point. It's 4th and goal at the 6 yard line. just kick a field goal. Because all they're looking at is Brian Dable philosophy. You
Well,
have to think, in a sense, he did say he was going to be aggressive. He isn't aggressive, but you have to understand what you have on the other side of the ball. You
yeah.
just have to, as a coach, you need to
So
just
I
kick the
want to
field
play
goal.
devil's advocate here for Mike Kafka real quick because Dable did the same thing. Well, he didn't. He did what you were hoping Kafka would have done in this situation against the Bears.
Well, you're fighting
Instead
for
of
your job.
being aggressive and going for the touchdown, he kicked the field goal. And him kicking the field goal didn't result in the Giants being able to win that game anyway. Do you think that even if he would have went for let's say he converted fourth down, they scored the touchdown, that the Lions would, because this has just been a giant season for blowing 1 point games or leads in games anyway. You think that they would have been able to stop the Lions anyway had they could see because they were 4th and 10, right? But it's a different strategy, it's different play calling. They're just trying to get the ball in the field goal range. But if they were forced to have to score a touchdown, they had plenty of time on the clock. I'm not sure that they wouldn't have scored a touchdown anyway, the way that Jamar Gibbs was running and Amon St. Brown was wide open all over the field. Do you think that it would have made a difference?
Well, let's say it, let's say it plays out the way it did. You kick the field goal, and it's that same predicament where it's 4th and 7, 4th and 8 at the 42-yard line. 38 seconds to go. They have to get a first down and try to stop the clock. Up by
Never
six
know.
points? You never know. Up by six
You
points?
never know.
Would the
Right.
Giants have given them probably a first down because the defense is horrendous? Yes. Are we
Yeah.
decimated on our cornerbacks? Yes. Would they probably gotten the
Yeah.
first down? Yeah, but do they still have enough time? Who knows?
Jameis Winston did it. He ran for 11 yards on a 4th and 10. So, but let's break this game down a little bit. So,
Yes.
opening drive. This is the sixth game, not in a row, but sixth game this year that the Giants have been able to get the ball and score on their opening possession. And man, did they look good. I'll tell you, man, the Giants are by far the best bad team I have ever seen. This guy, Jameis Winston, was able. Wan'Dale Robinson. Can we talk about Wan'Dale for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Wan'Dale Robinson finished this game. He had, let's see, 14
Okay.
targets, 9 receptions, 156 yards. In the first quarter alone, he had over 100 receiving yards, and he had a receiving tutty. Jameis Winston, he threw for 366 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 INT. And I honestly believe that interception that he threw, he could not see the defender. There was another defender right in front of Jameis. The guy was right behind him. He could not see him. So you got to be more careful with the ball, but I really don't fault him. That wasn't one of the bonehead turnovers
Well, it
that you
didn't cost us
typically
any
see
points.
from.
It didn't cost
Yeah,
us any points because again, the defense at a good time had them
right.
go 3-and-out and had them punt the ball. But again,
They
something
did.
they can't do in the fourth quarter. I
Right.
mean, that was in the third
The
quarter, man.
first two possessions from the Detroit Lions were punts. You know, they got them in a 4th and 19 on their first possession. Their second possession, they had them in 4th and 9. The defense showed up and did what they were supposed to do to start the game, as they have in a few other games this year, this season so far. But the ball just hasn't bounced their way for a variety of reasons. But looking at Jameis Winston as well as in his ability to connect with Wan'Dale Robinson this game, it was pretty impressive, man. This guy dropped back. He was finding wide open spaces. This first pass, that was the first pass of the game to Darius Slayton. This was one of the trick plays that I just thought worked out. Almost a disaster right there, right?
Mhm.
But to find Wan'Dale Robinson, he held the ball after being hit big. Usually that results in a Giants player dropping the ball when they come down, right? But I was just very impressed with how this game started. Jameis Winston's poise in the pocket. What did you think about Jameis Winston's overall performance today?
Oh yeah. I mean, he looked great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Sorry, man.
That's
Yeah, he
okay.
looked great. I mean, he looked great, man. That's something bad I can say. Um, I believe that statistically, here we go again, another week where the Giants pretty much got all statistic categories where they outperformed another great team where 517 total yards. If it wasn't for him getting sacked a couple of times, I mean, really, reality, it's 395. Well, 395
Yeah.
yards passing with that 33-yard pass from Gunnar Olszewski to, um, oh my gosh, to Jameis
To
Winston.
Jameis Winston. That was this play right here. It was beautifully drawn up, and this goes back to what you were saying earlier. Mike Kafka called a beautiful game for three quarters and 12 minutes. A beautiful look, Jameis Winston fighting them off. Get off me. Dude, listen, I love the touchdown celebration too. Check them out. They planned that. They practiced that one right there. Yo, I gotta tell you, man, there was a lot of reasons to be excited watching this game, and not just for this game, but what the Giants are going to look like moving forward. Because offensively, I would love to see them continue to keep this type of energy, this type of momentum. Obviously, it's not going to do anything for the Giants this year. And by the way, today, now they have been effectively eliminated from playoff contention, but that's okay. I think we already knew that. We have already gotten to the point that the final stage of grieving where we've already accepted that, right?
Yeah,
But
for
oh
sure.
my God, you talked about the overall stat line. Rudy, the Giants had more first downs, better on third down efficiency,
Hmm.
better fourth down
Hmm.
efficiency, total yards, passing yards, rushing
Yep.
yards. They could not stop
No.
Jamar Gibbs. This guy was all over the field. This was one of his big runs. Piss poor tackling, bad angles. This is something that we've seen all year from the New York Giants. And this was
Holland
his
again.
first big run. I'm
Holland
sorry?
again. Holland again in bad position. Holland was a bad position. Two of those massive big plays that Jameer Gibbs had today with that 40
Yeah, and
yard.
Dane Belton couldn't wrap him up on a second one.
No, man. No, that big one when we went up 27 to 17, we kicked the ball off. First play from scrimmage. There was about three guys, and the last guy who had to tackle him was Dave Belton. And
Right.
it's like they're it's like mosquito off, man. It's like the off spray, bro. It's like they don't know how to tackle. I don't get it. You're tackling great throughout the game, and then for some reason it's just my God. I don't know how many times each game a running back just gashes the Giants for a massive play. It's every
Why do you
play.
think Dexter Lawrence wasn't on the field for that scoring drive where Jamar Gibbs ran for 50 something yards?
Well, they were saying that yeah they don't.
I didn't hear
They were talking.
anything.
Well, they were saying that yeah right now you don't have. Right now they're taking what I heard was, oh look, right now they have Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns taking a rest on this next possession, and then boom, as soon as that happens, the play runs and touchdown.
No, I'm talking about the first play of overtime. First play of overtime, 1st and 10 at Detroit 31-yard line. Jamar Gibbs rushed to the
Oh, yeah,
right side for 69 yards.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was yeah, that's what I meant. That play um from overtime. First of all, if you want to be so-called aggressive and you know your offense has been moving the ball, then why would you win the toss but defer the kick? I get it because if they score, that gives you guys now a chance to score. But holy shnikes, bro! Again,
Yeah.
for your personnel as a coach, let me go take my offense and let them give it a try first. I get it
Right.
because the defense is horrendous again, and you don't know if the Giants are punting, then the next possession goes to the Lions. If they score any touchdown or field goal, they win the game. I get the philosophy of why he did it. But no, I mean, if you trust your offense, have them go out there first, man. They've been moving the ball great pretty much all game.
Right. And your offense is certainly the most dependable unit on the team. You know what really scared me, if I'm keeping it 100? They had Eric Gray back there returning punts and kicks. I
Oh,
was
I haven't seen that
scared
dude
to
since last
death.
year. I was like, Eric Gray's back there? What the heck?
He
Yeah,
turns
right.
too many balls over. He is
Yeah,
not reliable. I was terrified. I do think overall the corners and the secondary played a much better game this week. I was very impressed with Darius Alexander, 2 sacks today.
yeah,
Brian Burns almost had a sack. I don't know how he did not complete that sack where he had Jared Goff dead to rights, and somehow he did not see the play through. But I did think our secondary played a lot better. I thought that we were able to get pressure. Even Abdul Carter was getting pressure, but they were not able to stop the run. The Giants have been giving up these big plays running the ball, whether it was Saquon Barkley, whether it was against the Chargers, whether today it was against the obviously the Detroit Lions. They have not been able to stop the run. Even last week against Green Bay, I thought they were getting gashed, man. It wasn't until what was his name? Jones, right? He got hurt that we were able to see any type of decline in the run game. And I don't know why Green Bay went away from it because they were getting whatever they wanted. But today, another one. They just couldn't stop the run. Driving me nuts, bro.
well, driving you nuts, it's driving me crazy, sir. Either way, it's the same. So that let's call that gap integrity. I feel like some of the gap shoots of the movement of people are not. I feel like it's got to be because they're not getting there on time, and it's got to be because they're lazy to shut off a block. And the
Right.
thing is, if you're not going to fire Shane Bowen, which let me say that, like I said in my video, fire him Monday morning. Shane Bowen is gone. I don't care,
They're
man.
not
Where
going
the
to
fuck's
do it.
that? I know. So then fire. Then you got to do something with the defensive line coach. Fire him, man. Get somebody else in there for the last few weeks because it is horrendous how our gap integrity is that bad. You let. I get Jameer Gibbs is considered one of the top backs in the league. He wasn't doing that last week or the week before.
219 rushing yards.
I know. I know the numbers.
Yeah,
I
I
know the
think you're
numbers.
right. The gap integrity's been bad. It really shows how sorely we miss Micah McFadden, who we lost in the first game of the year. He was really good at closing those gaps and shutting down the run. He just was good at timing where he was supposed to be and where the runner would be and making tackles. So it really shows. But it also shows or highlights our need for better play at the middle linebacker position, whether he's back or not. We need better. We don't have really good depth. I will say this also. I mentioned the corners played a lot better. Tay Banks was not healthy enough to go today. And normally when Tay Banks is out there, I think if Tay Banks was out there, Jared Goff would have threw for 300 plus yards today because he's such a poor defender. He finds himself in just the wrong position in order for quarterbacks to have success. And that drives me nuts. And as a result of him not being available to play today, the Giants did pretty good in their secondary. It wasn't like you said until maybe he should have kicked the field goal, Kafka, right?
Hmm.
Gone up by 6 because your defense overall played. They played well with the exception of Jamar Gibbs. Even Amon St. Brown giving up passes to him, the Giants did a pretty good job of tackling him once he got the ball. But it's something about fourth quarters in the New York Giants that just don't mesh well. They just fall apart in the fourth quarter. And honestly, keeping it real with you, Rudy, I was at the point where I wasn't even stunned today. I was like, this is par for the course. This is what we've seen all year. But it also tells me in a really weird way, like I need to get some sage to sage these fucking Giants, right? But it also tells me, and I don't remember who it was. It might have been Detroit. It might have been, I don't know which team it was, but there was another team who 2 years ago or a year ago lost so many one possession games, one score games, and then they turned it around the following year and just they were the ones who were scoring in those one possession. It might have been, I know who it was. It was Kansas City.
Kansas
This
City
was
Chiefs.
Kansas City a year ago. They were the ones who were scoring on these one possession games, and this year they're not doing it, and that's why their record is what they are. But I really believe these Giants, their nucleus, their core is going to be pretty good. I still think they need a lot of help on defense. And I'm not just going to blame it all on Shane Bowen because he's not out there actually executing the plays. The players are. But I don't think his scheme works well with the players that they have. I cannot wait until he's replaced and we get some better talent at the corner position, the inside linebacker position. And I also think it's time for Andre Patterson to be replaced as the defensive line coach because
Yeah.
these guys just continuously seem to be out of position, giving up huge chunks of yards. We are certainly, I think we were 30th in run defense before this game. We got to be in last place after this shit.
Gotta be. We gotta be in dead
Got to
last
be.
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
we came in 30th on run defense. I, like I said, and I say it every time we do our podcast. Any team that comes to see the Giants, they know they're gonna get right on their run. I mean, on their rushing. If they had a poor performance the week before, they're like, we got the Giants, man. Easy, man. Just keep feeding the ball. Sooner or later, he's gonna break one. It is guaranteed, and it is like a religion right now for the Giants defense on every Sunday to go ahead and just everybody runs all over the Giants. I don't get it. I'm never gonna get it. Poor gap integrity. Um, these guys don't shut off blocks uh, correctly, and or they're too late, or they're turning around, or they're in the wrong spot, or the way they coming down on defense. I mean, man, poor positioning happened to Holland twice, and Dane Belton couldn't even tackle. He was the last
Yeah.
line of defense.
Yeah. It
But
was nice to see Javon Holland get that tip ball interception today.
I
I
said,
thought
fine,
that was that was
fine.
well timed when that happened because the Lions were in position to kick a field goal at that point, even if they hadn't scored a touchdown. So that was huge.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it was huge. It
Hmm.
was again the two-headed monster with Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. I mean, they both. You had Tracy for 20 rushes, 62 yards. That's
Hmm.
that's that's like 3.1 yards a game, but and then Singletary
Hmm.
with 14 for 47 yards. Again, overall, I mean, they were solid in the run game, and when they needed to go ahead and get into the play action, once they were moving the ball in the running game, that's when Jameis Winston was able to just light it up, mainly
Yeah.
going to Wandell. And of course, you got to give props to my man Johnson. I mean, he had 3 catches for 77 yards.
Yeah, he did.
He's only had 2 for 42 yards, but
Yeah. But one of them
Thanks, Megan. Great stuff. Yeah, that's
was
awesome.
in the end zone, right? He's still producing
Empty
in big
backfield, third
ways
down and
when we
8.
need him to. And
As
Jameis Winston was
throws
able
to
to
the
find him.
end
What a
zone,
catch.
it is
The
caught for a
extension was able to
touchdown.
come down with the
Isaiah
ball.
Hodgins.
Oh, man. I mean, he was such a great find. And it just amazes me still that he was on a practice squad somewhere. I don't know what it is about New York, but he just plays very well in New York. And you brought up Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Motor and the production that they had. And give credit to the Detroit Lions. They were shutting them down at the line. But once again, Kafka didn't give up on the running game. He passed himself into a running game. Normally, play action pass will set up your run. No, he went play action run. He was getting whatever he wanted down the field. And you brought up Theo Johnson. He made some really nice grabs. There was a couple of passes that were just a little bit off. He had that one pass that he threw to Belly. That Belly was a little out of position. He tried to reach back and catch it. He wasn't able to. And then when he threw the ball just a little too, Winston led him a little too much in the red zone where if he would have just took a little bit off of it, Bellinger might have caught that and that would have been a touchdown. But the tight ends once again produced at a very high level. Jameis Winston, he passed the ball again to 8 different receivers. He had a lot of production out of these guys. So, and then Younghoe Koo, he came in 2 for 2 with the field goals. I can't believe we're spending so much time talking about kickers this year, but I guess we need to. And then we talked a little bit briefly about Darius Alexander finally showing why he was drafted, where he was drafted. And I've talked about Nunez Roches on a number of occasions being so consistent, like high energy. He was in there for another sack during the game, and his came at a really good time too. So I don't know. Another week, another loss. It doesn't sting or hurt as bad, only because Rudy, we've been here. We saw this movie already. We saw this movie 5 times already. And here we are again on the losing end of a tremendous performance by the offense and a letdown by the defense. And I would say that even with Kafka's 2 errors, I think that you and I both agree that he made, he should have, in hindsight, kicked the field goal. And he should have taken the ball. You won a coin toss. You take the ball. You want to make a statement? Take the ball and score on the opening drive of overtime the same way you did in regulations opening drive and score a tutty. Do that. Why would you give them, and particularly after them coming off the high of knowing we just tied a game that we were down 10? Why would you give them, why would you put fresh wood on that burning fire? I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, is that because he's a young coach learning? Is he going to learn from this, Rudy? Is this something that you believe he can recover from, make the mental adjustments needed to be made as a head coach, and think about, like you said, you know what you're working with. Consider everything that you're working with. Do you still make the same decision in another game in a similar situation? What do you do?
Well, game number 2, like you said, you live and you learn from it. But the only way you know if he learned from his mistakes is go out next week. I do not care that you're 2-10. You go out next week and figure out a way to win. And you knowing you're pumping up your offense and you're telling them we're going to be aggressive because I have trust and faith in you guys. I was watching the post-game interview with Wandale Robinson, and they were asking him questions. Hey, do you think? Hey, man, coach. Coach said that he was going to be aggressive because he has a lot of faith and trust in the offense, and he wants us to go out there, and he believes that we're going to go out there and produce. Well, that if you're saying that, then you should have gave them by telling them that you won the toss. So go out there, get your offense out there, and go score a touchdown. It's simple. Do you live and you learn? Well, we'll see, because as a Shane Bowen, Shane Bowen has slightly lived and learned from his mistakes, and I get it. He's got to know what he's working with, but
yeah,
it's just it's not. We're
I want to know whose call it was to not have Dexter Lawrence on the field for that first drive of overtime. I want to know if Dexter Lawrence pulled himself out, kept himself out, or if Shane Bowen said, I want to go with Roy Robinson Harris and Darius Alexander. I want to know. Or was that Nunez Roches? I don't know who it was on there, but whoever it was, they were out of position, like you said. I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna give them a pass on not kicking the field goal and trying to score the touchdown, because I really believe that he was saying, but here's the oxymoron, right? I believe he was saying, let's finish this shit now, right? Let's score the touchdown now. So it doesn't matter whether they score a field goal or a touchdown. They need 2 possessions in order to win or tie this game, right? But then after you missed it, why did you give the ball back to them? That's the one decision that he made that challenges me far more than being aggressive and going for the touchdown in that situation. Because here's the thing. If they would have scored the touchdown, we'd be having another discussion altogether talking about, and how about the balls he represented by going for the touchdown and then converting? We'd be saying something totally different. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm never going to understand deferring. And not for nothing, they do that in regulation too, right? To start the game. We're gonna defer and give it to them first. And I've watched him say, no, we're taking the ball first and not deferring. Why do you do that in overtime? I don't get that one. That one has me really befuddled as to what was he thinking. Shane Bowen hasn't shown anybody that he can put together a defensive game plan to win games that the offense have already said, okay, just go out there and have your edge rushers pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. He has not shown us he's capable. Why did he think he could do it now?
So you and I are just regular Joes living a everyday life and trying to cope and deal with the misery of the New York Giants because we're huge football fans, correct?
Correct.
So all we can do is hindsight 2020. All we can do is be these Monday morning head coaches or quarterbacks, whatever you want to call it. But in that case, when I was baffled when I was just like, why are they going to run it and we're going to lose yards? I was like, it's 4th and goal, man. All right, man, just take the field goal and let's get some points. And that's literally what I said after that play. I said, all right, well, let's kick a field goal, man, and see what happens with the defense. And then I'm looking like, wait a second. Oh, no, what? The offense is staying out there. Whoa, what? No. And I'm screaming and yelling, take the 3 points.
I never thought he was going to go for the field goal. I always felt like he was going to go for the touchdown.
Yeah, well.
Whether it's right or wrong, I just felt like that.
Well, yeah, because the way, him talking about the whole week and him being aggressive, I get it. But I was just saying to myself, right after that play, I was just like, just go for the field goal, man, so we could be up by 6, and let's hope. And if it played out the way it was going to play out, where they had to kick that field goal, it would have been 4th and 8 with 38 seconds still, and they still would have to try to convert a first down.
No doubt.
So in reality, hindsight 2020, if I was saying to myself already field goal right after that play, and if it played out the way it played out, the way it did, maybe I would have been the right coach to go ahead and make that field goal. All right, buddy? That decision. So, look, man, next week we now go back home and we play.
I think it's either Washington or the Vikings.
We'll find a way to lose there too.
I hope not. I still want to win. I don't give a shit about draft positions. I want to win the game. I do not want to find myself, okay, we got New England next week, and then we got our bye week. So, and I don't think New England's going to be just as challenging. But you know what I wanted to point out to you also? If you look at the Giants' last 7 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they scored 27, 20, 20, 24, 20, 32, 34. That's not typical New York football Giants. They know how to put points on the board. And also, I want to say, and I guess I'm kind of building a case on why Kafka should be the guy moving forward. There's a couple of changes that I think they need to make. I don't think the head coach is one that they need to. I think Kafka needs to stay in there. And we're really going to see. Think about this for a second. His first 2 games as head coach, he has had to have a quarterback who had not played all year, a wide receiver who was on a practice squad on another team.
All right.
Start the game. You don't have the same running back in the lineup that you did the first 4 games. The defense, while they have surrendered leads this game, it was just, what the fuck, bro? Again, number 6. But the defense did look a little more competent except for with the running game. And he hasn't had his starting quarterback who's going to come back next week. And then, not for nothing, he's got these tight ends playing at a level I have not. I think we have an incredible tight end room. And now we're going to really see what he can do when he's got his quarterback. One thing I'll say also, in addition to that, is Winston is clearly a good backup quarterback, okay?
Yep, respect.
I'm not even holding to him some of the errant passes he threw last week because he sat on a bench for almost an entire season, and then he came in and still had us in position to probably win that game. This week, he looked good, man. He he looked really good at one point through the end of the third quarter. He had a 158.3 quarterback rating. The guy played well. So I want to see what Kafka's able to do when he has, and I still don't think Darius Slayton is right. Something's wrong with him. I don't know what it is, but something's going on with him. But I want to see how he looks with Dart out there. Like, what's he got Dart doing? Is he going to continue him in harm's way? Because if you look at the way he had Winston run the offense, he's not really putting him in a situation where there's a lot of RPOs and he's getting hit. There was two. There was two of them today, and they worked out, but not something that I'm like really concerned with that's going to be a problem moving forward. What are you expecting to see next week with New England and Kafka's play calling?
Well, I'm ready. Thank you, Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston proves and shows that he can move an offense and put up points. That's number one.
And he's under contract for next year, too.
For sure, right. That's what we were talking about last week. Number two, I'm ready for Jackson Dart's scrambling ability to make loose plays and make more magic happen, if you want to call it. It's because regardless of the fact, if we have Jackson Dart out there, there's a great chance that maybe we're putting up more points than what Jameis Winston is giving us. You know what I mean? We're going to need Jackson Dart back in there who can make loose plays, run around the pocket, and be elusive, escape if he needs to. Because we're going to have to score 40-plus points to beat any team this year.
Yeah.
Maybe. You have to. But I heard something on the WAFN radio this week, and somebody was saying that don't be surprised if they just hold out Jackson Dart and only let him play until after the bye week. I heard that.
Possible.
And I just started thinking about, you know what? They're still putting up points. They're finding ways to score. They're finding ways to move the ball. Mike Kafka, give him a lot of credit. He has some great. He's cooking in that offense. It's like an invention. I mean, he's reinvigorating an offense. Doesn't matter who's out there. He is making it work. And man, that's what you call somebody like I know he's not a head coach, but that man is a slight guru because what he has out there, he's still making him make sure that he can put up points. So with that being said,
Can I say one other thing to support that? He has a 2-10 football team looking like must-see TV.
Oh, yeah.
You might miss a whole bunch of games. You're not missing a Giants game. And they're 2-10, but they're hella fun to watch. I think you text me that during the game, something like that, didn't you?
Sure did. It doesn't matter because once Jackson Dart is out there, people want to see him play.
They do.
We can lose 34-40, 37-40.
They want to see Jameis Winston play too.
And Jameis Winston's out there. Let's hope whoever the coach is realizes that he has a gem in Jameis Winston out there to back up next year for Jackson Dart. But do not be surprised though if we go another week with Jameis Winston before we see Jackson Dart after the bye.
I wouldn't even care. I'd be okay with it.
I don't care.
As much as I want to see Jackson Dart out there, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean we're already 2-10, so I mean it's not like we're over there. And please, just figure out a way we can win games.
Yeah.
And we'll be fine, man. It's just I don't get it. You have to watch those post-game interviews with the Giants in the locker room. Those offensive guys, when they're getting interviewed, I mean, I feel for them, man. And I look at them and I'll be like, I can just tell that they just want to say, look, man, we're doing everything we can to put up their points for our defense, and our defense just keeps letting us down. I mean, that's what it looks like they want to say. And Brian Burns.
You know what? We didn't talk about the outstanding play of the offensive line. Aiden Hutchinson had one sack it was a big sack on the last play of the game. Jermaine Illuminor, he held it down today.
He was aware.
Andrew Thomas, yes, he was on point all day. Andrew Thomas, GVR, Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, these guys played an extremely efficient game. They had all of their guys locked down, put up a brick wall. The Giants had 517 yards of total offense. That should tell you how well the offensive line played. He had time to throw the ball down the field, and like I said earlier, they passed themselves into a running game. Then they started creating holes and openings where the backs went from averaging 2 yards a carry to start the game to 4 and 6 yards a carry to finish the game. So that offensive line deserves a lot of credit for how well they performed against a very good defensive team.
Sounds good though, man. It's been like that every week.
Right.
It's been like
not
that.
enough.
It's not enough. Something on defense has to change. Whether if it's individuals, the scheme, the defensive line coach, whatever is going on with that defense, because as you see, and they made sure they showed it throughout the game, you can just tell Brian Burns was just pissed every time on the sideline.
He was pissed through, several times. You could see it. You ain't wrong. And I hope that whatever DC comes in, brings in his own, like we've already talked about, D-line coach, cornerbacks coach, linebackers coach. Bring your whole unit. Bring your whole unit, and Mara, pay him. Don't go cheap on your next coaching staff that's going to run this defense, because that was one of the things that he was very specific about talking about at the conclusion of last season, how he was tired of defenses or offenses running up and down the field against his New York Football Giants defense. Well, guess what? We are here again. And unfortunately, the same guy who you let hire this clown, you kept as the general manager. So I don't even think that I'm telling you, Rudy, I don't think Joe Shane survives the conclusion of this season. I don't think he does, because the only thing Joe Shane did right, and I don't know if it was him or Dable, was bring Mike Kafka in and Shea Tierney, because these guys are doing it right. Okay, when you just look at the peek in the window of what the future could be for the New York Giants based on what we've seen from this offense this year so far, and these trick plays, only his second game as the head coach, these trick plays that he installed, and not just installed, usually they are epic catastrophes for the Giants. Trick plays, 2 trick plays, 2 touchdowns today. You can't get better than that, right? I want to see more of what these people has to offer. He need to figure out what's going to make the most sense when he's in the red zone. Do we want 3 points? Do we want to score 4 touchdowns, score 7 points? And most certainly, you need the ball when you're starting overtime. You do not defer in overtime. But overall, listen, if I do a pros and a cons list, Rudy, I got far more pros than I got cons for Kafka at this point. I just do.
No, I do too. So smoke and mirrors. I just believe that's all smoke and mirrors. Joe Shane will be fired at the end of the year.
He better
number
be.
Two. Number two.
I'm driving down the 1925 Giants Drive, and I'm going to handle that shit.
I'm going to catch you playing there, buddy. I'm going to meet you over there. Number 2 and number 3 factors. After saying that's all smoke and mirrors, Joe Shane's going to get fired. Number 2, that was Dable's decision to bring in Mike Kafka. Number 3, it was Dable's decision to get Jackson Dart. I feel bad for Dable, but Dable's made pretty good choices. No, Joe Shane's got to go. Joe Shane's only gotten lucky with a few draft picks, and they were pretty much obvious draft picks, which I don't even count that He is a guru making those picks, because everybody knew Leak was going to be great. Now, maybe 5th round with Cam Scatterboo as a steal, but again, that is a Dable decision, because that's who Dable wanted to bring in. So that's 3 right decisions that Dable made. I have yet to see anything for Joe Shane. You're going to fire Joe Shane. If you're going to keep Mike Kafka, man, I just wish it wasn't so bad with the Giants and Brian Flores. If we had a Brian Flores in here as a defensive coordinator, holy shit, man. I'm telling you, the guys that he would bring in, man, it's just sad that we'll never see that in fruition, because regardless of what the fact's going to happen, whether this lawsuit, all that stuff goes through with the NFL, the Giants are too proud of our franchise to be like, yeah, we'll never bring that guy in, regardless, because what he had us go through with that, or bring me Brian Flores and be like, yeah, I'll never go ahead and want to coach for that team in any type of capacity. So we'll never really know. But
Well, I hope he's not that petty because the people who were a part of that text message and bullshit that went through, they aren't even here. So whatever.
yeah, you're right. But
You're talking about Brian. I'm not Brian. Bill Belichick. He's in North Carolina. He don't even want to come here. Like
no,
whatever. Now it might have been. We don't know who told Belichick either. We don't know how that whole thing went down. But
that's
I don't know.
there.
For the right money, would you come, Rudy? If the
No,
money was right.
no, man. Knowing that as a coach of any capacity, you're gonna get paid millions. Sign me up, sir. I'm there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna take much, man. You tell me my salary's in the millions. Why am I gonna complain? I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's just I I truly believe that Joe Shane is all smoke and mirrors. He's gonna get fired at the end of the year. But
Yeah.
just please make the right choice for the coach, because if you see what Mike Kafka has done in 2 games with a Jameis Winston, who's a statue in the back over there on that line, and still able to see that he and has nobody, just Wan'Dale Robinson, you might as well start giving him more credit. That young man is more of a, to me, starting to become more of a superstar than anything else. He's been with the Giants for 4 years. Look, man, what Mike Kafka's been able to do all year with Jackson Dart and Jameis Winston, you have to reconsider this guy of making him a head coach. You have to.
Rudy, who's done more with less? Who's done more with less? Nobody.
Nobody. I'm trying to think.
And on Shane Bowen's side, who's done less with more? They had 2 shopping carts full of groceries, gave it to Shane Bowen and said, "Make us breakfast." This dude made instant pancakes, and that was it. He got a Lamborghini sitting in the driveway, and he's driving it like a scooter.
Yeah, man.
I don't understand it, bro. How do you have 6 games where you led by 10 points in the fourth quarter? In the fourth quarter, and you surrender those leads. So yeah, am I disappointed that Kafka didn't draw up an offensive plan to make up for the deficiencies of our defense? Sure, I'm disappointed. But why should he have to? Why should any offensive-minded head coach have to week after week after week? And I'm going to tell you, I think that he is the reason, Shane Bowen, that is, he is part of the main reason, and Dable's loyalty to him, his Dable being blinded by his golden boy, Jackson Dart, who's my golden boy too, by the way. Don't get it fucked up. But his loyalty to saying, we're keeping Shane Bowen. After week after week after week of defensive collapse, he's decided to keep this guy. I think that more than anything, maybe, I mean, it had a lot to do with Jackson Dart too, but more than anything, I think his loyalty to keep a guy who is insufficient, inadequate, and incapable of running a proper NFL defense, particularly when you consider all of the investments that we made in this defense. He did not get rid of Shane Bowen. The ownership decided to get rid of him. I'm telling you, it has to be. Caleb Williams, we had the lead. We should have won that game. Even with a concussed Jackson Dart, we should have won that game. How do you let Caleb Williams run for 2 touchdowns to beat us in that game? He was the architect of his own demise.
Yeah. Look, Mike Kafka's defense and argument at the end of the year, regardless of what the record is, we have, 5 more games. We're going to see if the trend continues, since Jackson Dart and not Jameis Winston running the offense is there with Mike Kafka calling the plays. We're at 20-plus points for the rest of the season. Like we have been the last, holy shit, 7 games.
That's right.
If we're 20-plus points at the end of the season, your argument is Mike Kafka to be the next head coach for the New York Giants is to sit there and be like, look, I did more with less. And I was able to still go out there, and we did the best we could to give our defense a chance to win games. It is not my fault that the defense didn't live up to the hype or live up to their expectations. Give me a chance here, and we'll find the right defensive coordinator to get these guys on the ball. And I promise you're going to see us win more games. That's got to be one of his arguments in defense when he's interviewing for this job.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't know that it matters at this point to retain Bowen through
No.
the end of the season. If it were me, and I don't have the same consequences attached to being an armchair quarterback on a Monday after a game that he does as being a head coach. But if it were me, Shane Bowen, his key card would not work. He would not have we would mail him a box of his belongings from his office on Tuesday. He would not be welcome back to the facility. We would thank him for his service, and we would say, but we're looking to move in a new direction. You did it with Dable, and look at the results of the offense. I would dare say the offense is more efficient. I would dare say that.
Thumbs up. Yep. Rising up. Yep.
What do you have to lose at this point? I mean, if you just weigh it out, do you have more to gain or to lose at this point? I think you've got more to gain than you have to lose by moving on from Shane Bowen. What is the point at this point? What is it? Yo, do you ever watch The Fan, Tiki Barber and Evan?
Of
do you
course.
Listen to Tiki Barber be like, why is he still on the rock? Why is he still on the team? Why are you still having this person, this guy who's been so ineffective, inadequate, and insufficient at his job trying to lead men who I'm telling you do not believe in his scheme anymore? What do you think you're doing? What is the purpose of him being? What does he have on Mara? What does he have on Tish? It's got to be, because even from my 10-year-old daughter and I do a daddy-daughter podcast. Right. My 10-year-old is like, Daddy, why is Shane Bowen still the defensive coordinator? Why does he still have a job? I don't have an answer for her that makes any sense, because there isn't one that makes sense other than dude got some dirt on one of these guys, and they afraid to let him go.
Look, man,
Yo, I know when Rudy says, look, man, when Rudy starts off with, look, man.
Because if I'm the head coach, I know that there's a good chance that they're going in a different direction. And at the same time, they're still looking at me to see how I run the team. That's number one. Number two,
okay,
if I made the first big choice as Russell Wilson being the third string quarterback as the new interim head coach, you gave it already 2 games. Now the next big decision should be, because that's what Mara's also going to look at. Are you just going to let this guy just keep running the defense? Your next biggest decision needs to be, as a head coach, is to see if Mara and them are in the background watching, and God bless him and all that while he's going through his his cancer treatments and all that. And but Tish and Mara, they're watching behind the scenes. Hey, is he going to make that move? Is he going to make that next big move? Hey, you're fired, defensive coordinator. They want to see if you can not only run the team, but make the tough decisions that need to be made. Stop riding with Shane Bowen, because Bowen is going to ride you to the ground, bro. And everything that you've done in offense and everything we've done in offense, it's going to look past that. Why? Because all they're going to keep talking about the rest of the year, again, the defense, fourth quarter, again, the defense, fourth quarter. That man, I said in my video, Monday morning, I should hear that Shane Bowen is fired as the defense coordinator of the New York Giants.
Well, do you think that he is going to do it, but he's waiting until after the bye week, no matter what happens? I mean, some people are saying that's when they should bring Dart back, right? What's the point of bringing him back before then? Give him another week. Are they going to give Bowen is that the mindset?
If it ain't that mindset, and we hear that tomorrow, Monday morning, he's been fired as a defensive coordinator, that means Jackson Dart's going to be starting next week. That means whoever's there as the next man up, I guess, to say, on the defensive side for coaching, I guess they'll be stepping up in there. And remember, I forget what the guy's name is, but he's never been a defensive coordinator. So, hey, it's his chance to go ahead and switch it up. We're 2-10. What hurts? It doesn't hurt to try anything. Switch it up. Try something different.
Right.
Figure it out.
They're not going to come up with a new playbook, but they'll call different plays. Same
They'll call
plays.
different plays, and maybe the blitzing will be slightly schematic-wise. Maybe blitzing will
I
be
like
instead
their
of.
blitz packages today, by the way. I did think they did a much better job today.
But fourth quarter, they were a little gasp as they were having 6 guys going out. Finally saw a DB run in there, and that was Corey Black, the rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't get there on time, and they picked up the blitz pretty well, and he was able to make that play for a first down. So keep running and moving the chains to try to go ahead and hit that field goal in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where we're going to end it tonight. Giants suffered another defeat, this time to the Detroit Lions, who I think for many Giants fans felt like this was going to be a real tall task for them anyway. But they kept it interesting. They kept it a good game. It was very exciting. Unfortunately, once again, they were on the losing side of the scoreboard. But some positives to take out of it, some frustrations once again. But, you and I both are big blue, bleed blue to the day we die, to the casket drops, right? So we're going to support our boys. Jameis Winston had a day. Wan'Dale Robinson had a day. Isaiah Hodgins continues to be a very effective tool for us to use. Our tight ends look good. Got to give it to the secondary of the Giants. They played much better, but the interior defense was just tragically bad. But, the edges got pressured. It did the trick plays. I really like how Kafka ran this team for most of the game. A couple of things we would have done differently, would have liked to have seen different. But in a season where we have already lost 7 games where we had the lead, 6 of them where we led by 10 in the fourth quarter, what else you expect to happen? This is just what it's going to be this year, right?
Yep.
But hey, thanks again, Rudy, for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm going to ask everybody to please check out Rudy's page. Make sure you like and subscribe to his page, and please like and subscribe to our page so every time we drop some new content, you're one of the first ones to be notified. And we'll be back maybe tomorrow or the next day to bring you some more content. We'll let you know how Dart's progressing in the protocol, if they're going to start him, are they not going to start him. We're hearing a bunch of different things out there, but so until next time, thanks for spending some time with us, and go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue.
Yeah, a lot of girls probably crying from my old high school. Look, they see me everywhere they go. I probably would too. Look, crossed over to the Jordan men like I'm Michael. Yeah, eating blessings so much I might need lipo. Yeah, tailored for the doves like I'm walking in chucks. Yeah, it's just in this plan, man, I see all y'all shook. Look, knew that I was great ever since I was a rook. Man, all y'all singles making me look good. Okay, praise to the Most High, yeah, that's Jesus. Look, but when it come to this rap thing, I can't lose. Yeah, back-to-back number ones, that's the thing greats do. Yeah, tell them boys that ain't nothing I can't do. It's my year. It's my year.